Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Jiva and happy Valentine's Day. Hello. So today is February the 14th, which means it is Valentine's Day, and I just want to say happy Valentine's Day. I want to wish you just like a happy day, and also welcome you to a new special edition radio vlog. We're basing it on today's obviously holiday because it is romance is in the air or something. Apparently that's what people tell me. I don't really feel it, but I'm gonna feel it in a minute when I actually start reading my new books, the books that I've just been really looking forward to reading ever since I received the last book in a series. Guys, I finally have here what's the series called again? The Last Hour series by Cassandra Clare. Yay, round of applause. Oh my goodness, yes. So I finally have all 3 books. And if you have any experience with Cassandra Clare books, you'll know that this is a big event because she is a master at finishing off series. She's also a master of torturing her readers by resolving like the main relationship things in the last books. So today is a very good day because I was thinking I can't just jump straight to the 3rd book because it's been years since I last read the first 2 books in a series. So what I'm gonna do is actually reread the 1st and 2nd book as well. This is gonna be my 3rd time reading the 1st book and my 2nd time reading the 2nd book. So this is the series. I'm gonna be starting it off with Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, obviously. And if you're not familiar with the series, in here we actually follow the children of characters that we met in the Infernal Devices. So we have like obviously Will and Tessa, and I can't remember the other characters' names. I'm sorry, it's been years since I last read a book from the Shadowhunter world, so yeah, please don't judge me, but I don't really remember all their names. I remember the main characters' names, but side characters do tend to escape me. So yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna learn them today anyway. And this, I'm probably gonna keep it separate. I'm gonna do spoiler reading vlogs for Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron in this vlog, and then I'm gonna do a separate one for Chain of Thorns, because otherwise I just assume it's gonna be a very long video. So I'm gonna break it down into 2. I also wanted to show off this little bouquet. I actually got a bouquet of flowers this morning from my mom and my nieces, and this is what it looks like. Look, it's so pretty. It's extra special because my mom actually told me my nieces picked it out for me, so this is like a little gift from them, and I just love them. I love the flowers, I love my nieces, I love everything. I love the colors, like the yellow roses. They genuinely smell so good, and I just like how lively they are. They just really brighten up the whole room. I borrowed a vase from my mom, so this is where I'm gonna put them. It's just so beautiful. So yeah, I just think today is gonna be a very exciting day, and even though I don't hope to actually finish the series in one day, obviously it's 3 500-page books, so I'm not finishing it today obviously, but I do hope to finish them by the end of February. Like, this is my February reading plans, just reading and rereading the Last Hour series, so I think it's gonna be fun. And yeah, I'm excited, which is why I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it straight away, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about some spoilers later on when I make some progress with Chain of Gold. Okay everybody, so I'm actually back with my first update on how it's going with Chain of Gold. I've now read the first 4 chapters, so I'm about to start chapter 5, and that means that I've read the first 117 pages. And it's really good so far. It is insanely good. I've almost forgotten how freaking good this series is. I especially love how straight off when you jump into the story, like Cassandra Clare doesn't even try to pretend like she's gonna be focusing more on the plot instead of on the romance, because straight off from the get-go we get started straight in on the drama between Cordelia, between James, and between Grace. Like, I feel like even if you've never read a story before, you can kind of feel that something is off in these relationships. Like, something ain't the way that it should be, and you're right to be suspicious, but more on that obviously in the later books. But yeah, I just love it because Cassandra Clare truly is a master at writing this kind of very angsty, epic and very dramatic love story, and that's exactly what she's doing to James and Cordelia as well. And honestly, she has me at the edge of my seat, just itching and waiting for, you know, Cordelia and James to finally have like an honest talk and just a heart to heart so they can figure everything out. But until then, I'm just gonna be, you know, writing nasty poetry about Grace and about all the ways I hope she stubs her little toe or something, because she is truly an awful character. At this point, I can't believe that once I finished like Chain of Iron, the second book, I actually felt sympathetic toward Grace. I cannot imagine that happening right now, because in this first book she is insufferable. I hate her so much. Luckily, there's like a dozen other characters in here who are funny and lovable and amazing and the sweetest cinnamon rolls out there. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this is one of Cassandra Clare's best like cast of characters. I think that's one of the reasons why this book series in particular from Cassandra Clare might be my favorite, because there's just something so amazing and so lovable about all the characters that appear in here. It's just, I feel like it's one of the best casts that she's ever written. It could also be because we already know their parents and we know their histories and everything they had to go through to come to the point where they're at now, you know, having children and teaching their children to defend themselves against demons and all this stuff, you know. So maybe that's why it feels a little bit more precious, because we know where they come from, these lovely characters. But I don't know, there's just something very lovable to me about Matthew and Thomas and Christopher and James and Anna and Cordelia and Lucy, and I'm forgetting a bunch of people, but they're just all so lovely. And also, talking about Lucy, I actually love all the interactions between Lucy and James that we've gotten so far, because they have such big sibling energy. Like, remember that ball in the beginning of the story? And Lucy just does not understand all these other girls around her, like gushing and blushing about James. She's like, oh my freaking god, he's just a freaking boy. He's my brother, he's disgusting. He farts and burps just like everybody else. Like, that's basically the energy she's giving, and it's such big sibling energy. I actually love all their interactions. They're so funny. I think Cassandra Clare depicts the sibling relationship perfectly, because at one moment they are bickering and hating on each other, but the next they're like being each other's biggest supporters and would protect each other at all costs. So yeah, would die for Lucy and James's relationship. I love them so much. And all the other siblings, I feel like, as well, all have like, all the relationships in here, all the sibling relationships give off big sibling energy, and I'm here for it. I love it so much. I love how many siblings we get in this book. Like, there's so many characters. One of the hardest things, honestly, about this book and reading the stories is keeping all the names straight and all the relationships between the characters, because not only do we have siblings, we also have cousins, and that's a whole other relationship as well, which is kind of similar to siblings, but sometimes worse and sometimes better. So it's a whole different dynamic. And Cassandra Clare just writes it so well. Like, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. So yeah, I think that's what I have to say about Chain of Gold so far. We just had the first demon attack, and it's basically like one of the first larger battle that this new generation of Shadowhunters has had with the demons. And yeah, it's definitely thrown them off a little bit. So it's gonna take them a while to actually pick up themselves and their weapons and like start looking at demons and demon activity a little bit differently. So yeah, okay, I think that's what I wanted to say so far, and now I'm actually gonna go and read for a little while longer, because I can't wait to make more progress. Actually, one more thing I quickly wanted to mention is the most adorable scene that I can remember happening so far. It was between James and Cordelia, when Cordelia comes up to Jace asking if he knows any like suitable bachelors in the clave or something that she could possibly marry, and James is like panic mode. Oh my god, what do you mean Cordelia is going to marry somebody else that is not me, even though it kind of claimed that I haven't her when I'm in this relationship thing, engagement with Grace, so I have no claim over her, but still Cordelia wants to marry somebody that is not me. That's everything that's happening inside of James, but very deeply into his subconscious, so he doesn't think it, but we all know that he's thinking it. So that was adorable. Also, wait, there's something more that I need to show you, because I had to throw away the original bouquet that I got. So yeah, it got dry very fast. Unfortunately, I wasn't very good at taking care of it, and apparently roses are infamously sensitive. I don't really have a very good green finger, green touch. What's that phrase again? I'm not very good with flowers, so unfortunately they died on me. So my mom actually got me a new bouquet. She's an absolute sweetheart. She got me these. I actually can't remember right now what these are called, but they are absolutely beautiful. Apparently they also aren't as sensitive, so they should last me longer. And I'm supposed to change their water every single day and clip the end of their like stems every day. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm going to try to take care of this bouquet of flowers for the rest of this reading vlog. And I'm telling you this so you can keep me accountable. Basically, like, I don't want to kill another beautiful bouquet of flowers, so I'm gonna take care of it. It's very pretty and I love it, so thank you, mom, for the flowers once again. Guys, something amazing happened. I actually managed to finish the next 100 pages of Chain of Gold in one day. I just filmed the latest update literally yesterday, and now I'm already on page 238, so I'm about to start chapter 10. This is absolutely beautiful. I can't remember the last time I actually managed to read that much in a day. It's true, I did shirk all of my other responsibilities yesterday. It was Monday technically, but it was kind of like a Sunday for me because I had to work on Sunday, so I just took a little break, you know. I just had a day off. I had like a self-care day with Chain of Gold, and it was the best. So I just kind of wanted to tell you about it because it was beautiful, okay? So yeah, Chain of Gold, we now have had some plot development as well, not just the romance development. And it was actually pretty cool to see, you know, the demon attack at the park. So that was like the first thing that happened after the previous update. We have the demons who can walk in daylight, and nobody can really explain why the heck that is. What kind of demons are they? They seem way more dangerous, you know. There's comfort in knowing you can just walk around in daylight, knowing that you're not going to be attacked by demons, but now it's like a game changer. And especially after years of there being very little, almost no demon activity, like all the young shadow hunters are just like scrambling about, not exactly knowing what's going on. And it's kind of funny to see, but I also love how they are handling it. In the aftermath of what happened, we had Anna, Matthew, and Cordelia actually going on an adventure of their own, and I just freaking love that chapter so much. I love how the three characters interact with each other. I feel like they're the three who are kind of like the wildest, like with the characters with like the least inhibitions, at least Matthew and Anna. I love how those two are kind of like the characters who are always going to make sure that there's some pleasure in whatever they do for themselves as well. Like, they just aren't doing something for the sake of doing it. They're gonna make sure that they are enjoying it. And I love how they're also kind of pulling Cordelia into this circle of theirs, and I really hope we get to see more of their interactions, or them going on like another mission or something, because they're just so fun. I love Anna Lightwood and Matthew, and I love their friendship. There's something so pure about them. Like, I love them with all my heart. Matthew is just a sweetheart. So yeah, them going to the tavern and, you know, talking with the downworlders was one of the like best parts of the story so far. It was lots of fun, and I feel like we did also get quite a lot of information. So yeah, we also have, oh yeah, there was a chapter in here that made me remember why the hell I hate Grace with my whole entire being. So there's a chapter in here where she actually figures out that James has fallen in love, or has started falling in love with Cordelia, and immediately in the same breath that she says that, she also makes sure to make him fall out of love with Cordelia, or like to hide his feelings for Cordelia with making him like steal the bracelet. So we now know about the bracelet on James's wrist and what it does to him. And I hate that fucking bracelet so much. If there was a competition of the most hated magical object, that freaking bracelet would be on the top of my list. Like, seriously, that would be #1 for me. I hate it so much. I don't quite understand Grace's motives for having James steal the bracelet though. I was thinking maybe neither Tatiana nor Grace could really reach it inside the box where it was, so only James with his abilities would be able to do it. Or like, was there a purpose? Will it only work if like it's done by James's own will, like fetching it for Grace or something? I don't know, I didn't really understand it, but the main point is that now it's on James's wrist and it's just messing everything up. And yeah, related to that, we also have James obviously starting to like get a little bit of control over his shadow walking ability, which I think is gonna come very in handy in the future books, so I can't wait to see more of his abilities. I'd also love to know more about Lucy's abilities, because obviously her gift of seeing Jessie, like being the only one who can see Jessie Blackthorn, probably comes from her like maternal bloodline, so like from Tessa and from probably like the demon ancestors that they have. But I'd love to know more about what exactly Lucy can do with that ability. Obviously there's gotta be more than just being able to see ghosts, because she can also, I'm pretty sure, touch Jessie and stuff like that. So yeah, would love to know more about it. And so far I've loved the interactions between Lucy and Jessie. Like, they're also such an adorable couple. There's so many adorable couples in here. Also an unexpected development was the relationship between Thomas and Alistair. Never in 100 years would I have expected it, especially after reading is it the Shadowhunter Chronicles? There is like a collection of short stories. I can't remember right now what they're called, but I remember there being at least a couple of chapters in that book about the Merry Thieves and their interactions with Alistair at the academy, and those were just messed up. So I kind of love seeing this new development between Thomas and Alistair now. They're definitely like one of my top 3 couples in here. I love both of them so much because they really soften each other out. But then again, they kind of fit the like tropey relationship a lot with like the sunshine and the grumpy one. Alistair is definitely the grumpy one and Thomas is like the sunshine one. So I think they're just perfect and I can't wait to see more of them. And I think that's pretty much it what's happened so far. I can't wait to continue on. One more thing that I've been enjoying about the stories and like just this world in general is all the Easter eggs you can kind of see connecting the different series in the Shadowhunter world. Like, there has been some character mentions in here now which are going to play a much bigger role in the other series. Like, there's, what is his name? Ragnar Fell, I think. So he's gonna have like a bigger role in is it the Lost Artifices? Like the Lord of Shadow series, the 3rd series in Shadowhunter world. It's the Lost Artifices or something like that. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure some things are gonna go down in the series, if I'm remembering correctly, which is going to motivate Ragnar Fell to do some things that he does in the other series. And it blows my mind how these stories and all these characters are connected throughout all these generations. And it's one thing that I admire about Cassandra Clare and the way that she's written these stories, because she's really, like, she's leaving all these little trails that if you read all the series and all the books, you can actually connect and see how they influence each other. So it's pretty cool to see. Oh wait, I just realized I actually have all the series listed on the back of the book. So it's not the Lost Artifices, it's the Dark Artifices. We have Lady Midnight, Lord of Shadows, and Queen of Air and Darkness. Okay, yeah, I remember that now. I don't have the books here in this room because I have them in the room downstairs, but yeah, lovely series as well. I really enjoyed the series. Okay, everybody, so first up we have an update on how the bouquet is doing. It's actually still alive and it's been a couple of days. I've kind of been religiously changing the water of the bouquet, so I think that's why it's still thriving even after all these days. I'm honestly so proud of this. I think I might even be able to keep it alive until the end of this reading vlog. So yeah, it's looking very beautiful, but what's even better is that I actually have another reading update because I'm now on page 360 of Chain of Gold. This book is just honestly blowing my mind on every single step of the way, and I am here for it so badly. I can't wait to actually get to book 3. Like, now that shit is going down and the stakes are getting higher and we have James Herondale free of the bracelet. Oh my goodness, let's just start there. Okay, so I feel like we actually have quite a lot to talk about because in this past couple of chapters there were crazy amount of revelations and just a lot of things went down. But let's start with the Grace, James, Cordelia thing because that's the most exciting part, honestly. So we finally had Grace confronting James about whether he would actually leave his life behind for her and just run away with her. Like, she literally came and asked him if he would leave his family, his best friends, even Cordelia, everything that he knows behind just for her. And it was the most satisfying moment to actually see and hear James say no to her. Oh my goodness, it's what I have been waiting for. James finally being like setting some boundaries, honestly. I'm pretty sure this was actually the first time that James has said no to Grace, and it was indeed very satisfying to see. So Grace, obviously, like, I've been thinking, but I don't think Grace actually cares whether James loves her romantically or not. I think Grace just wants somebody in her life who's gonna be like there to protect her and to make her their first priority. I think that's basically all she's looking for. I feel like Jessie used to be that for her, but then she lost Jessie and now she's completely lost in the world. Tatiana is obviously a psychotic bitch. We were able to see that Tatiana does not at all care about Grace, and she would cast her away the minute it meant that like Grace's doom would mean saving Jessie and helping in Tatiana's plan. So nobody. I feel like Grace definitely has nobody, and now I do feel a little bit bad for her, even though her actions are inexcusable. She's a freaking snake and I hate her so much, but at the same time I understand her motives and her reasoning of why she's doing what she's doing. She's basically just trying to save herself. Like, nobody else is looking out for her, so she's doing everything she can to look out for herself. So I can understand that and I can respect that, but I definitely hate her for every single second that she's torturing James with his fake love or whatever. Anyway, so more on the romantic front, we actually have another development which I'd almost forgotten actually happens. So we have not Matthew, we have Alistair and Charles. Oh my god, that was the most unexpected reveal, honestly. And I love how Cordelia is actually now in on Alistair's secret. Obviously, the way she learned this is not the best of ways, and Alistair, I feel like he has every right to be angry with her about it, so the tension right now is understandable, but I'm just glad that Alistair now has somebody who knows his secret, and hopefully they're gonna be confidants. I actually feel really bad for Alistair because I think he's a good guy. He's trying to be a good guy, but he's going about it in a very weird way. And I think same as everybody else, he's just looking for somebody who's gonna love him for who he is and who's gonna like want to keep him a secret like Charles is doing right now. Obviously Charles has his own motives and his own reasoning, but I don't think he's realizing how much he's hurting Alistair with everything that he's doing, and it's just not a healthy situation that they're in. So hopefully they're going to realize it. I hope Alistair actually, you know, just realizes that Thomas might actually be a better option for him. So hopefully he's actually gonna end up romancing Thomas instead of Charles. I would love to see Thomas and Alistair together because I think they would just be so good together. They would be so good to each other. And for even more revelations, we now know that actually Lucy and James and Tessa as well are all descendants from a prince of hell. This is so exciting, and I'm honestly not sure why, but there's something so exciting to me about like demonic storylines, especially in these books. Like, and it makes for such an interesting turn of events because obviously now both James and Lucy have some kind of powers that they don't really know too much about yet. But yeah, it's understandable why it's also manifesting in them, since, you know, it came from a prince of hell. I'm imagining a prince of hell to be like pretty powerful, so his descendants would also have like pretty powerful, pretty strong powers basically. So yeah, I don't know, it's just exciting and I want to see more about what exactly Lucy's power is going to be. So yeah, there was a moment also in here that actually felt pretty bad for Matthew. So Lucy actually confronted him. It's weird to me how she's the first one to confront Matthew about his drinking problem. Like, everybody else sees it, but they just don't mention it. It's so weird to me. Even James, who's his power bad guy, should be the most worried about him. He never really says anything. It was actually Lucy the first who brought it up with him. And actually the line was so heartbreaking when, you know, she's asking Matthew about why he's doing this, and Matthew says, "Oh, are you worried about me?" And Lucy was so brutally honest, saying that, "No, I'm just worried you're gonna get my brother killed." Oh my god, I swear my heart just dropped to my heels. It was so heartbreaking. I'm just glad that at least somebody is confronting him about it, because obviously it is a problem. So yeah, but I love Matthew. I love Matthew so much. I actually remember what exactly caused this like change in him, because I remember reading one of the short story collections where the events are actually described. So like his motives completely understandable, but I just don't know why the people around him are ignoring it. Like, to me it just looks like they don't care about him destroying his life and himself and everything. So yeah, it's like a big problem. I kind of like how we're handling this very real life problem through these fiction books. I wasn't really expecting that of Cassandra Clare, so I kind of really like seeing it, especially in such a young person, Matthew. I don't think we really see this rep that often, like a young person having an alcoholism problem. So yeah, I kind of really appreciate that actually Cassandra Clare decided to tackle this topic and deal with it. Yeah, it's just really cool. So what else has happened? I have to check my notes. Oh yeah, one more thing I just remembered. So Grace must not be only a shadow hunter. I remember it now, the moment that she has with Matthew. Oh my, that was another infuriating moment she had with Matthew. Oh my, when she manipulated him. She has to have some kind of powers, but I don't know, is she like part warlock or something? But I don't think warlocks can have like children, so it would have to be, is she infused with like demon blood as well or something? I feel like that occurs so often in these books. It could actually be a possibility. But she seems to have some kind of powers, because she definitely, it felt like she like seduced him or something. Is she like a succubus or something? I don't know. It was very weird to me. The way she just so easily manipulated Matthew into kissing her, it was so weird. But it also makes me so angry that Matthew actually didn't take this information and take it to James and actually explain to James that something is happening, something is very wrong with that girl. But yeah, I guess Matthew could have possibly thought that like James wouldn't believe him or something, but we all know that he wouldn't believe him because he doesn't wear the bracelet now. So okay everybody, time for the next update. So I'm now on page 506, so I have very little of the story left, but the last couple of chapters were just absolutely insane. They were so eventful. I feel like so much happened, I barely am able to keep track of everything. But let's start with the whispering room, because possibly that was the most exciting part of the story so far. Just that whole sequence of Cordelia dancing on that stage at the Hellrel, and then James and Cordelia having a little honest, so innocently pure romantic moment. Like, it was kind of hot, not gonna lie. The kiss was kind of hot, but in such an innocent way that it actually makes my soul hurt, because their love for each other is just so pure. It's actually beautiful. I can't handle them. They're so beautiful, and I'm really happy that they had the little burst of passion and they both kind of realize how they feel for each other. And yeah, I just wish, you know, it could have been smooth sailing from here on out, but we need a little bit more drama, I guess, to really get us through the second book and then get to the actually good parts in the third book, because I do expect there's gonna be a very good redemption arc for James's and Cordelia's relationship in the third book. But yeah, so we're not there yet. I feel like after that scene we didn't really get much like development on any of the romantic fronts. I feel like we focused more on the plot. And did the plot happen? Holy shit, it got, wow. This is the part that I'm kind of struggling keeping up with, because so much was revealed. First off, we finally know who James and Lucy's grandfather is, who Tessa's father is. Oh my god. I wonder how Tessa is going to react when she actually finds out that Belial is her father. Oh, shit. I feel like it's gonna be just as much a shock to her as it was to James and Lucy to find that out. But yeah, so now we know their grandfather, and he's just freaking crazy. But yeah, so he needs to possess James's body, and James has to be willing to do it. So obviously James is not gonna just do it, but with Belial actually threatening Lucy to possess Lucy's body, I'm kind of afraid what James actually might end up doing. He's definitely gonna give his body up if it comes to protecting Lucy, so I'm kind of worried about it, but we're gonna see. So far, James is safe, you know. Cordelia ended up saving him. That was so freaking cool of her. She came in so kick-ass with her Cortana and just kicked Belial's ass. Like, that was very satisfying once again to see. She was very cool. She definitely came in like a true warrior and just made everything better. So yeah, very grateful for her and Cortana. Cortana is such an interesting sword to me, because it feels like it can solve any problem for all these Shadowhunters. We had people dying, we had Barbara dying, then Oliver behind her, then we had Christopher get actually infected, and James also got infected. Oh yeah, there were so many people got infected. And it's kind of funny. I had such a whiplash, because the first time that I was reading this book, I still remember we were under lockdown, so there was obviously restrictions and stuff. And I still remember the first time that I picked up this book, I was not expecting at all for the situation in the book to actually reflect our situation back there. I almost threw the book across the room when I heard there was going to be a quarantine in the story while we were physically also being quarantined. That was such a whiplash. It was possibly the most meta moment that I remember, and I still don't really know whether Cassandra Clare actually put it there on purpose because of our own experience with quarantine, or whether it was actually completely coincidental, because if it was coincidental, that was insane of her. Let me check, when exactly did this book come out, because I can't remember. Did it come out in 2020 or 2021? It came out in 2020? I feel like quarantine actually only started in 2020, so Cassie Clare couldn't have possibly known we were gonna be quarantined when she was writing the story, right? So it was actually coincidental? Isn't that freaking crazy? Oh my god, okay. Anyway, so weird situations aside, I feel like a lot of plot development happened. We also had Magnus Bane. Yes, right, I almost forgot to mention. So Magnus Bane finally made a physical appearance, not just an appearance by mentioning his name. He actually came in, he helped the Shadowhunters out as he always does. He's honestly the biggest hero of the Shadowhunter world. He's genuinely deserving of like 75% of all the victories the Shadowhunters have had. If they hadn't had Magnus on their side, I don't know how they would have handled it, but it definitely would have been a lot tougher because Magnus Bane is a freaking genius, okay? He's definitely like, he's carrying, I feel like, the entire Shadowhunter world on his shoulders, and he's doing it magnificently. He is a true hero. He's the MVP of the Shadowhunter world. And there's also another character actually from this last couple of chapters that just turned out to be such like a hero. And that's Jessie Blackthorn. First off, some more revelations actually. So, first off, Lucy can freaking control ghosts, which actually makes sense now that you really think about it. There were some instances where she had like an interaction with a ghost and they were way too honest and way too obedient to her. So, it actually makes sense that she has this power over ghosts, and it definitely seems like it's gonna come in handy. Like, ghosts are everywhere if you really like think about it. Ghosts are everywhere, so whenever you would actually need help with something, you could just call on them and they're gonna pop up there because, you know, they're everywhere. So it seems kind of like a useful ability to actually have. You know, the whole ethical issues aside, I'm actually curious how she's gonna, if she's gonna use them, how she's gonna use them, you know, what's gonna go down. But yeah, I'm glad we now have confirmation that Lucy does have some powers of her own. And then we have Jessie Blackthorn, who first off was willing to sacrifice his last breath, first for Lucy or Cordelia, and then he actually did use it on James. It was so, like, it broke my heart. Jessie Blackthorn, like, I feel like at his heart, he is such a Shadowhunter. He has the bravery for it. He has the martyrdom, you know, the martyrdom, what's it called? He's ready to make sacrifices for the greater good, and I feel like that makes him a very strong Shadowhunter. And I feel really bad for him actually that his body kind of betrayed him and rejected the runes that he received. I don't know, it is a tragic story when you really think about it. I would never in a million years actually defend Tatiana, but when you really think about it, it's kind of understandable her reaction to everything that's happened. I feel like at this point, the only irrational thing about Tatiana Blackthorn is her hate for the Carstairs, the Lightwoods, and the Herondales. Like, that's the only thing that doesn't make sense. Her father brought that shit on himself when he started dabbling in, like, demonic powers and experimenting with demonic blood and whatever the hell he was doing. He brought that on himself. He genuinely turned himself into a part demonic worm or something. And Tatiana, I feel like that's the only thing she's really being irrational about. Everything else actually happened for a reason. Yeah, in a way, I hate saying this, I do actually feel bad for Tatiana, and I kind of understand her reasoning why she would want to bring her son back. I'm kind of rooting for that as well at this point. Okay, everybody, so all in all, it took me a little while to actually get through Chain of Gold, but I am now finally finished. I freaking love this book with all my heart. Especially the way we wrap things up at the end of the story. So obviously we have James and Cordelia about to be married. And that makes me extremely freaking happy, even though also the bracelet is back. Unfortunately, you know, James is under Grace's influence again, which is so infuriating, especially when James and Cordelia were making so much progress during those chapters when there was no bracelet. They were going to read together, and that is the most romantic thing I can think of actually them doing together. So it's sad that we didn't get that scene of them actually reading together without a bracelet, but it's whatever. I know there's going to be more romance in the future books, so it's fine. For now, you know, it's just fine knowing that they're actually going to get married. They're going to be all domestic together, and it's just something to really look forward to in the next book. So yeah, I'm really excited about jumping into Chain of Iron. Chain of Iron? Yes, Chain of Thorns. I keep mixing up the titles of the second and the third book, I'm not gonna lie. We also had some unexpected development between Lucy and Grace. I honestly, with the way Grace is treating James, I never would have expected those two to become friends. But them connecting over Jessie actually kind of makes sense. So hopefully they're actually gonna get together to save Jessie. Save his life, like bring him back to life. I'd genuinely love to see Jessie back and become a Shadowhunter like he's always wanted. So hopefully Lucy and Grace putting their brains together is actually gonna happen. And another very memorable thing that happened was obviously Alistair, who officially finally broke things off with Charles, which we know we rejoice, but it's unfortunately also come out that he was such an asshole during the academy days. And what's he done during the past has officially also screwed things up with Thomas. So unfortunately, all the progress that they made, the beautiful relationship that was starting to kind of progress between them, has now gone cold, because obviously, like, I can't see Thomas just forgiving Alistair for everything that he said and spread rumors about his freaking mother. Like, it's insane. So I do feel really bad about him, but I don't know, Alistair did that, you know, on his own, so now he has to make up for it, I guess. The groveling is gonna be beautiful though, I have a feeling. So yeah, also something that I'm really looking forward to. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna be getting also Cordelia's dad back in the next book, so we've learned about his also alcohol problem, and I'm actually curious to see how this might affect Matthew in the next book, seeing, you know, Cordelia interact with her father, especially during his drunk days. So, and yeah, overall, this is just like one of the best books I think written in the Shadowhunter world, and I love it with all my heart. And yeah, I guess that wraps up the part about Chain of Gold. I know there's so many things, like these books are ginormous, so obviously if you wanted to discuss every single detail, it would be so freaking long. So I hope I did the book justice, talking about some of the things that really stood out to me. Definitely let me know what are some of your favorite parts of Chain of Gold. And now I'm just freaking happy to be finally jumping into the second book, which is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. So this is now the only book keeping us away from Chain of Thorns, keeping me personally away from reading Chain of Thorns, which I'm so excited to see because I just want to see all these characters happy, and for them to like air everything out that has been undiscussed, mainly the stuff that James and Matthew have to talk about. So really looking forward to that. But yeah, for now I'm actually gonna wrap up this reading vlog. So I know I said I was gonna dedicate this one to both reading Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron, but I thought it would make more sense to dedicate a reading vlog to each of them separately, just to keep it shorter. I don't want these videos to be too long, so I think I'm gonna be reading Chain of Iron in a separate reading vlog. So that's coming up next very soon. And yeah, until next time, hope you have a great day or night wherever you are, and until then. So yeah, till next time, bye bye.